Tell them to call the cops if they think it's a threat. Hey, it's Prince of Queens, and this is going to be a relatively short video about an effective strategy I just discovered when debating or arguing with feminists and social justice types on the internet, which has to do with what happens when they accuse you of threatening them. Up until a few days ago, I didn't have a great response for when this happens. Now, if you've had disagreements with these people, you know that they absolutely love telling people that you've threatened them. And I've mentioned this in several videos. All you have to do is say things like, in a few years, you're gonna look back on these arguments and you'll be embarrassed that you went on and on like this. And they'll accuse you of having sent a threat for that. Or if you say, you're never going to win this debate, your logic is based on faulty data, so it will be continually easy for me to beat you. They'll say that that was a threat, as if you were threatening to physically beat them. You could even say something like, you keep saying I'm a vile and hateful person, but you don't even know anything about me. You don't even know what I look like. And they'll accuse you of having sent a threat, as if you were implying that you are gonna stalk them like a ninja and cut them in half with a katana. All three examples have actually happened to me. I have been accused of having sent threats for basically just exactly those things. Now, everybody on the whole internet, including the social justice warriors and feminists themselves, are fully aware that these are not threats, but that is precisely the point. These people know perfectly well that they are making shit up, like the fat, ugly woman that yells, "Rape!" in a public conflict with a man. They're just playing victim to get rid of you. These people, who are generally women, are fully aware that they can make up lies about being threatened, and considering it is so easy to get people to believe lies on the internet, a lot of guys will get scared and stop arguing out of fear that some people will actually believe the lie about the threat. As I made an entire video about, on the internet, lies are more damaging than threats, and usually when people lie online, they lie about being threatened, especially the feminists and SJWs. Sometimes they don't even say that you made a threat at all, but just instead vaguely refer to you as somebody who used, quote-unquote, threatening language. Meaning, of course, that you disagreed about something, but they'll imply that you threatened them with threatening language when it didn't even happen at all. So here's the solution. When they ask, is that a threat? All you have to do is say, call the cops if you think it's a threat. Seriously, it stops them dead in their tracks. As I already said, they know perfectly well that they are lying, so all you have to do is tell them to put up or shut up. Tell them to call the cops, and when they realize that they'd actually have to call the cops and tell the cops, hey, some guy on Twitter said that he was gonna beat me in an argument, they realize after thinking about the idea of calling the cops to tell them that if anybody were to get in trouble, it would be the hysterical idiot who called the cops over a tweet. Now, this might not have been true in 2015 or so when Feminism Incorporated ruled the West and cops cared about appeasing them, but I'm pretty sure at this point, cops don't give a fuck about feminists playing victim on social media. At least if you don't live in Canada, but even if you do, after the case of Stephanie Guthrie versus Gregory Allen Elliott, the cops are probably suspicious of feminists who call the cops over internet arguing. Regardless, if somebody accuses you of threatening them, don't cater to it for a moment. Don't deny whether you threatened them, because that plays into their hand and they get to say, you sound awfully defensive. If you defend yourself, they'll think you're nervous. And obviously, don't double down on your statement because they'll use that to continue the lie that you threatened them. All you have to do is tell them to call the cops if they think it's a threat. It works like a charm, and you'll never hear any more nonsense about threats from them again, because they know perfectly well that their overgrown teacher's pet ass isn't gonna call the goddamn cops. That's all I have to say for today. Drop me a comment, help me out on Patreon if you think I seem cool, and stay tuned.